Well, let's continue on learning about the tabular list. Go to the tabular list in your codebook. You will see that it's organized in numerical order. It starts with 001 with cholera and goes all the way to 999.9. These codes are arranged in chapters based on body system or cause of disease. You will also note that the codes range from 3 to 5 digits depending on specificity. That's a word you don't hear very much, but in the coding world, specificity is used quite a bit. And what it means is to make sure that if we have categories from 3 digits and codes ranging to 5 digits, that you must code to the highest level of specificity that you have. So whether the code is 3 digits, such as 486, or has a subcategory and subclassification, or a 4th and 5th digit, then you must use whatever the tabular index indicates is the proper amount of digits for the condition you're trying to code. The 4th and 5th digits provide additional information to that category code. Here's an example. Category 380 is disorder of external ear. Look this one up. You will see that there's other subcategories available. But this example, the subcategory of that 0 or that 4th digit gives us a location and more specific condition of perichondritis. Another important thing to realize and rule is that do not use zeros as fillers. If you don't need a 4th or 5th digit, do not put a 0. For instance, if your code is 486, then use 486. Do not use 486.00 thinking that you must need 5 digits. That is not the case. If you use these codes that have the incorrect amount of digits, there's a possibility either that you have the wrong code or disease, and more importantly, if you submit those on a claim, you're either giving the patient a condition they don't have, or you have an invalid code that is going to be rejected and sent back to you. Also note that there are different symbols used to indicate the use of an additional digit. Look on the bottom of your tabular index and you will see the symbols that are used in your codebook. They're also found in the very beginning of your codebook where all the conventions are included. Speaking of includes, there are things called an includes note in the tabular list. They are found underneath the category. So for instance, go to code 401 in your tabular list and you will find 401 is the category for essential hypertension. There's an includes box, so all those conditions and diseases are included in the category 401. So if you have essential or arterial hypertension, you are in the right place. Likewise, there is an excludes box. So under category 401, you will see the excludes. This means that any code, such as if I had elevated blood pressure without diagnosis of hypertension or code 796.2, I could not use that with any code under the category 401. The same holds true for any of these other code combinations, so really watch out for those excludes. There are other conventions that are also used. These are detailed in your codebook and in your textbook. So one thing that's kind of interesting is the very bottom bullet of a lozenge. So if you recall that the ICD-9 CM, the CM means clinical modification, which means that it was modified from the World Health Organization's ICD code sets to be used in the United States. There are 2 important abbreviations that you will see throughout the codebook. The first is NEC. These are used when there are conditions and diseases that may be more specific than the classification system provides. The alphabetical index will direct the coder to a code that may not include that exact disease, but that's okay. You will go and use that code where the alphabetical index takes you. The second one is NOS. That's where there's not enough specificity in the documentation to assign a more specific code. For example, blurred vision without any other qualifiers would code to blurred vision NOS or code 368.8. There's also notes that indicate when you need multiple codes. So you're going to look for words due to, associated with. Code first, underlying disease, always requires 2 codes. We had that example in part 1. Also look for use additional code or code also. The very last part to keep looking through your codebook are V codes and E codes. We will get to these in chapter 4. Right now, you're ready to start coding.